Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Maya Cameron, the host of Everyday Goddess.
Well, thank you very much, everyone, for that warm welcome, and welcome to you to this, the pilot episode, some might say the maiden voyage, of Everyday Goddess. My name is Maya Cameron. I'm the host of Everyday Goddess. I'm also the creator, producer, director, the janitor. Basically, the buck stops with me, but I can't think of anywhere else that I would rather be at this moment than here with all of you. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for being part of my vision and my dream. You guys are a great audience. I love you already. Well, I want to tell you a little bit about Everyday Goddess, some of the whys and the hows of the show, because if you haven't visited the website, which is www.everydaygoddess.tv, you might be wondering, what the heck is this show and what's it all about and what's going on? So I will tell you. In this country, women have incredible power, opportunity, freedom, more than almost any other place in the world, and certainly more at this time than we've ever had in the history of our country. We can and do vote. We hold office. We are doctors, lawyers, engineers, firefighters, astronaut, you name it, and a woman in this country can and probably has done it. And we owe that to our mothers and our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers, all the people that have come before us that have fought for those rights. But there's something interesting that I have noticed, and that is that in spite of all that power and all that opportunity and all that freedom, we still as a culture and as a society tend to view our world through a very masculine lens. And here's what I mean by that. In a lot of cases, to get that power, to get that opportunity, to get that freedom, women have to adopt very masculine ways of being. They have to use a more masculine form of power. And here's where I get into trouble sometimes, because there are people out there who are not comfortable with me saying that men and women have different kinds of power. And I always think that's kind of funny, because the idea of assigning different attributes to male and female is not a new idea. It's actually an ancient idea. If you look at Taoism, you have yin and yang. If you look at Hinduism, you have Shakti and you have Shiva. Even in our own culture, we talk about women's intuition. We talk about the boys' club. So the news flash is men and women actually are different. Believe it or not. This really is not new information. And you know what? It's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. It's actually one of my favorite things, the fact that men and women are very, very different. So it's really not a problem. Let me give you an example. Aggression is something that we would normally think of as a very male trait, traditionally. Would you agree? Now, hopefully it goes without saying that there are some amazingly aggressive women who are out there. But the female, traditional female counterpoint of aggression, we would maybe think of as attraction. Now, aggression is going out and getting that thing that you want, whereas attraction is about getting that thing that you want to come to you. Now, you just guess which one I prefer. But they really are two ways, different ways, but of achieving the same goal, right? Getting that thing that you want. They're different, but they're equal in what they're trying to achieve. So again, the problem is not that men and women are different. The problem is that over time, in our culture, one set of attributes has been valued more highly than another one. Now, the solution to this problem is not to say, down with men. And I want to make that totally clear, because we at Everyday Goddess, we adore men, we love men, we could not live without them. Ladies in the audience, can we please give it up for the men in our lives? Thank you very much. I can tell this audience is full of everyday goddesses. The solution to this problem is for women to remember, way back to a time thousands and thousands of years ago, where the feminine was regarded as sacred, where the female soul was celebrated, and it was cherished, and it was allowed to blossom and grow and take its place in the world right alongside that male soul. And as women, we still have that connection inside of us. Now, that voice has been somewhat stilled for a while. We don't know that language as fluently as we used to know it, but it's out there. It's coming back, and I think one of the reasons it's coming back is that it's needed. that feminine sensibility, that energy that connects us to nature, that allows us to bring children into the world, that allows us to connect to other people, that's real. And it's vital. And we need to have that back. I mean, think about it, men. Think back to the last time that the woman in your life truly enchanted you. I'll bet you that at that moment in time, she was in the full glory of her feminine radiance. Because when a woman connects to her soul, when she connects to that deep core of her femininity, she glows. And that joy spills over into everyone else in her life. Now, the good news is, there are already women all over this world who are already living that feminine spirit, that divine feminine joy. And so part of the why behind Everyday Goddess is my selfish desire to find these women and to meet these women, because there's nothing that inspires me more than a woman who is tuned in and turned on. I love to see that. I love to have women like that in my life. Some of them you'll meet tonight. Some of them you'll meet in future episodes of Everyday Goddess. The other why behind Everyday Goddess is about creating community. Some of the most meaningful and special and supportive relationships in my life have been with my female friends, with my sisters. Women who have supported me when I'm down in the dumps, who have celebrated with me when I've had successes, and who have knocked me upside of the head when I've forgotten how fabulous I am. Those are the relationships that have really sustained me. And I want that for every woman in this country. Actually, I want that for every woman in the world. Because sometimes as women, we're socialized to be competitive, right? I mean, back for our mothers and our grandmothers, they were competing for, sometimes it was just for the best mate. But nowadays, I mean, we compete for almost everything. You know, the best school, the best job, the best promotion, the best shoes, the best hair, the best body, the best boyfriend, you name it. Because we have those opportunities. But wouldn't it be great if we created communities in which women realize that when one woman wins, when one woman achieves her dream, the universe expands. And it gives us all that much more room and that much more power and energy to achieve our dreams. So Everyday Goddess is about discovering these amazing women who are already out there and using that discovery and their example to promote other women and create communities where we can all stand together. Because together, when we start pooling that feminine energy, man, we're going to be unstoppable, and we can change the world, and we can make it a better, more beautiful place. So that really, in a nutshell, maybe not so much of a nutshell, is the why behind Everyday Goddess. But there's also a how. Those of you who are sitting out in the audience right now, I bet that you're probably thinking in your head right now of a woman who fits that bill, of a woman who is, in fact, an everyday goddess. And that's good news, because that's how I'm going to find these women, is by people that you know and maybe people that you are. Maybe you yourself are an everyday goddess. So here's what you do. If you think of that woman who's an everyday goddess that you think we should know about, or you yourself are that woman and you want to share your story, you go to the website, everydaygoddess.tv. And on that website, you will see 10 cities that are listed. Those are the first 10 cities that Everyday Goddess is going to profile. Because here at Everyday Goddess, we don't have a home studio. Our studio is going to be a specific venue within whatever city that we're profiling. So each episode will have that very personal, distinct flavor of that city and of those women. So if you go to that webpage, click on that city when you see your city name. If you don't see your city name, guess what? There's an 11th button. It says your city. That's the one you're going to use. Tell us who you are, where you are, and tell us your story. And we will put you in the mix for an upcoming episode of Everyday Goddess. Now, after each episode is taped, we're going to throw a little party. Because life's just more fun when you throw a party. In fact, after this episode, all of you know that we actually have a party that we're going to go to, so that the women that come to the show can create that community. They can spend time together, they can talk, meet each other, talk about the stories they have just heard about, maybe talk about some new stories that weren't shared at that show, but to start to create that community. And to that end, after a show's been taped, that particular button on the website becomes a link to a discussion board where those women in that city can continue to connect and continue to build that network and that community and that support system. My dream is that we create these networks in every city in America and also internationally. Everyday Goddess will go international because our sisters over in Europe and Asia and the Middle East and India and Africa and Latin America, they need community and they need to be uplifted just as much as we do. But I'd love to have a community in every city in the world that's so strong that if a woman is moving from Atlanta to Singapore, all she has to do is go visit that Everyday Goddess discussion board and she can hook right into that community of women and find herself a new home. That's really my ultimate dream for Everyday Goddess. So again, I thank you for sharing in the first little step of that dream. Now I want to talk about our home for tonight. Tonight we are located in the Matrix Theater, which is in downtown Detroit. Our mini pilot is here in Detroit. The Matrix Theater is a pretty amazing place, and I actually have a little video that I want to show you to give you a little taste of what that's all about. So take a look and tell us what you think about this.